So, in nurses with burnout syndrome, what is the effect of mindfulness in reducing the level of burnout? This is our systematic review. Kaylee, Laura, Greg, and Timothy. So, occupational burnout related to stress in the workplace is experienced by nurses who are regularly confronted with trauma, suffering, and high workloads. Burnout can negatively impact patient care and have detrimental effects on nurses' physical and mental health. Mindfulness-based stress reduction programs have been researched as a potential holistic intervention for reducing stress and burnout in nurses by cultivating present awareness. And so we wanted to look into this, especially after COVID. The purpose, this critical review of the literature explores current knowledge of the effectiveness of mindfulness and meditation on stress and burnout in nurses. So we use PubMed because it's publicly available. I didn't have access to the library. I do have UTMB library close, but I wasn't able to go there. So PubMed's free and online. The first search we did, we used the terms nurse without the E, just NURS, and then a asterisk, which is a wild card. And we use that and mindfulness and burnout. And so the PubMed at first, the search was 275 records, and we filtered that for the last 5 years. And free text, which is something you can do easily on PubMed. Got 82 articles out of there. Then I screened through the abstract, just reading through the title. I did a title screen. I got 29 records. Then reading through the abstract to see if it met our inclusion and exclusion criteria. I got it down to 13. And so those were the 13 that were in there. But for this study, we just used 5 so we wouldn't have to include so much in the systemic review. Here's our Prisma diagram, the flow diagram, just showing what I just went over. Inclusion criteria: nurses and registered nurses. We excluded students, doctors, other healthcare personnel, healthcare administration. And some results. This is just characteristics of the studies. Going through, so the intervention is mindfulness, and there are different measurements for mindfulness. This one right here is a common measurement. You look down here, there's the FFMQ is a real common measurement they use for mindfulness. So you see all the samples, it's all RNs, 500 intensive care nurses, type of study, pre and post, qualitative, cross-sectional, cluster, randomized control trial. This is just a table showing all of that. Okay. So then discussion. This is a standardized form for systemic reviews, I think, from the Joanna Briggs Institute. So we'll look at our Liu et al., Perez, and Fu, those articles. Those were randomized controlled trials, Perez, cross-sectional study, and a cluster experiment. So when we go through those, was true randomization used for assignment of participants to treatment groups? Yes. Was allocation to treatment groups concealed? Yes. Were treatment groups similar at baseline? Yes. Were those delivering treatment blind to the treatment assignment? Yes, for all the studies. Were outcome assessors blind to treatment assignments? Yes. And were treatment groups treated identically other than the intervention of interest? Yes. Were treatment groups treated identically other? Yeah, that's just a continuation. Was follow-up complete? Yes, all the studies had follow-up. Were participants analyzed in the groups in which they were randomized? Yes. Were outcomes measured in the same way for treatment groups? Yes. Were outcomes measured in a reliable way? Yes. And then was appropriate statistical analysis used? Yes. And was the trial design appropriate? And any deviations from the standard RCT design accounted for in the conduct and analysis of the trial? Yes, yes, yes. So all these three studies meet the criteria. So it gave us the valid conclusion that mindfulness meditation has the potential to decrease stress and burnout in nurses by decreasing self-judgment and over-identification with experience, and by increasing resiliency, compassion, and emotional regulation. And here's all our references.